Welcome to Are You Quizzing Me? I am Vineet Nair with my co-host Aditya Kashyap. This is a quizzing trivia podcast show. Join us as we dive deep into history, science, pop culture, and so much more. Let's get quizzing. And we're back for episode number 93 of Are You Quizzing Me? Your favorite quizzing and trivia podcast show. Aditya and I are back for another round of quizzing. And without further ado, let's move on to the audience question. This is a question which I ask at the beginning of every episode, and the answer to which I reveal at the end. So, the audience question for today is as follows. This game was invented in Germany in 1892 under the name Sternholmer, as a variation of the older American game Hallmark. The present-day name originated in the United States as a marketing scheme by Bill and Jack Pressman in 1928. Which game am I talking about? Let me repeat the question. This game was invented in Germany in 1892 under the name Sternholmer, as a variation of the older American game Hallmark. The present-day name originated in the United States as a marketing scheme by Bill and Jack Pressman in 1928. I will answer this question at the end of today's episode. Let's move on to our regular round of quizzing, and let's start off with Aditya.
Alright, so it's been a while since we last recorded, and hopefully I've managed to collect a good batch of questions for today's episode.
Oh.
And Vineet, I'm quite sure you'll crack all of them, but let's see how quickly you do that. So the first question today, I'll do the XYZ format, which I realize I don't do very often.
Oh, that's usually my wheelhouse.
Exactly, yeah, I realize I haven't done that in a very long time, so today I'm going to start off with a Vineet question. The singer X met actress Y in late October 2002, 3 weeks after the passing of her father, a television director by the name of Bruce. X and Y grew closer, and some of Y's songs helped X process the loss of her father. X and Y got married in December of 2003. The song Z came from X's desire to continue helping Y process her grief. X initially planned to base the song Z off of a church organ, but decided to use an electronic synthesizer that was a gift from Y's father to Y. The instrument had been sitting unused in the house, and X found it had amazing sounds on it. X has said that Z's composition is influenced by English alternative rock band Elbow's 2003 anthem, Grace Under Pressure. Identify the singer X, the actress Y, and the song Z.
Okay, I'm shot in the dark. I have absolutely no idea, but I'm just going to give it a shot in the dark and hope I hear a scream of pain. Is this Chris Martin and Gwyneth Paltrow?
Oh man, was that a complete guess or did you have a clue?
It was a complete guess.
Wow.
3 things basically: actor, actress, singer, and piano. These 3 things, Coldplay is the first thing that came to mind.
I actively avoided saying band because I thought maybe initially you'll think it's a solo singer and not somebody who's part of a band, but there's no fooling this trivia giant sitting in front of me.
For those who are listening, his usage of the word trivia giant is a dig at basically calling me fat. Cancel him immediately.
Wow. Okay, that's not where my mind went to immediately, but okay. Coming back. X is Chris Martin and Y, very well cracked, is Gwyneth Paltrow. And I did not mention the last name in the question, but the name of her father obviously is Bruce Paltrow. The television director, late Bruce Paltrow. Okay, so now you have to tell me what song Z did Chris Martin come up with to help Gwyneth Paltrow through the grieving process of her father's death.
Okay, can you give me the portion about the song again, the details or the clues about the song?
Sure. So initially Chris Martin wanted to use a church organ, but instead went with a synthesizer that Bruce Paltrow had gifted to Gwyneth Paltrow, and it had been lying unused in their house. When he powered it up, he realized it had some very great sounds on it and decided to use it for the song itself. Chris Martin has also said that the song's composition is influenced by the English alternative rock band Elbow's 2003 anthem, Grace Under Pressure. In 2005, he described Zed as, quote, probably the most important song we have ever written. We, of course, being Coldplay.
Okay. I'm just running through whatever Coldplay songs I can remember in my head. I'm very bad with when they would have released the song because I heard most of these quite later on, not in real time. So there's a song playing in my head. I'm trying to remember the name of the song because you said church bells and this thing. So I'm trying to remember which song it is.
I would suggest you rather think of their popular songs and specifically their titles.
Okay, so when you're talking about that, first name that comes to mind is Yellow.
Yellow is a good guess, but no.
The Scientist?
No. Okay, so the reason I said think about the title was because the title very clearly talks about helping someone.
Oh, wait. Isn't there a song called Save Me or something?
Ooh, is there? But anyways, not the answer here.
For some reason, only Cemeteries of London is clicking in my head right now. It's there and I can't think of anything else.
I feel like Zed is a fairly popular song. I love it personally because it has been featured in a very lovely place, and I'll tell you that later.
No, the thing is, there are a lot of Coldplay songs which I'll recognize on hearing, but if you ask me the name, I wouldn't click immediately.
Okay.
I'm fairly sure I know the song because I can literally hear the song in my head. There is a song, I can't remember the name.
No, it's not that.
Okay, that's again Cemeteries in London. Why is that song in my head right now?
Isn't that Clocks? But anyways, not the song also. Ooh, let me describe the music video. Maybe that'll help you.
Oh, I don't watch many music videos, but go ahead. Let me just see.
Okay, let me give it a shot because I actually find a lot of the Coldplay videos to be rather great. This one starts with Chris Martin wandering around the streets of London, and he goes through some iconic places including the London Bridge station and stuff, and near the Royal National Theatre. And the second half of the video, he ends up at a concert where he's singing the song Zed and the audience joins him for the last chorus.
Oh, okay. So that's where Rockstar got that from.
Yeah, I guess.
The opening of the Hindi movie Rockstar, where Ranbir Singh plays a very unconvincing rock star by the name of Jordan for some reason.
Wow, you're ruffling some feathers because firstly, Ranbir Kapoor and secondly, Jordan aka Janardhan is considered to be one of his best performances.
I was never convinced by that movie. It was always like, okay, somebody's acting as a rock star. It never brought me into it.
You know, at least Ranbir was acting because that movie also features Nargis Fakhri and I'm not even sure what she was doing because that did not look like acting to me. But anyways, enough dishing on Rockstar. Coming back to the question. What other clue can I give you? I could tell you the covers of this song, but I don't know if that'll help. Sam Smith covered it in May 2020. Camila Cabello has also covered it.
Dude, Coldplay gets covered like by practically everybody.
That's true. But BTS covered it and not a lot of English songs that BTS covers.
It's not clicking. I think we'll just simply waste time.
Alright, fine. I'll give you the answer, Vineet. The name of the song is very simply Fix You.
Oh, shit. Fix You. I know the song. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah. That one belongs in the Hall of Shame.
You know what? You had a fantastic start. You cracked that Gwyneth Paltrow and Chris Martin question very quickly, so don't give up hope. I believe in you. Honestly, that crack goes down into the Hall of Fame because that was a really, really quick one.
You know the clue that you should have given?
Uh-huh.
You should have given Grey's Anatomy as the clue.
Is it featured in that show prominently?
If I remember correctly, I think in the first season or something, it's one of the major songs that plays and clips with that playing in the background.
Oh, okay. Must have been. It's a really popular song. I especially remember it because it was featured in a So You Think You Can Dance episode, a show I used to watch back in the day. A choreography by Travis Wall, I believe. A really lovely piece. So that's pop culture recommendation number 1. And also, I must say, the song Fix You has really held up well with time because in 2021, the song was ranked number 392 on Rolling Stone magazine's list of the 500 greatest songs of all time. Actually, do you want to give it a shot and try to guess what the top 3 songs are?
Oh, top three songs, greatest of all time. See, first of all, it's impossible to do that because it's very, very subjective. Like, what objective criteria could you use apart from maybe album sales? In which case, Kanye West would be in the top 10. And frankly, he doesn't deserve to be.
No, you're right, of course. So let's assume this is some editor in Rolling Stone who decided what this list should be.
Okay.
They have released two lists, I believe, one in 2004 and one in 2021. I think you'd redeem yourself entirely if you gave me, let's say, one song from the top 10 in the 2021 list. Name any one song that could be on the top 10.
This is exclusively to the 21st century or like of all time?
No, I think it's all time.
Oh, top 10, there has to be a Beatles song there.
Yep, you're right. There is a Beatles song there.
Yeah, so my personal choice, again, I'm telling you, is very subjective. My personal choice would be between Let It Be and While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
Both beautiful songs, yes, but not on this list, unfortunately. This is a song that I am not very familiar with. I think I've heard it once. It's called Strawberry Fields Forever.
Oh, Strawberry Fields, yeah, okay, yeah. But no, that's not like the top 10 Beatles songs, no. No, again, before people start sending angry messages, this is a very subjective thing. Like you ask 10 different people, they'll give you 10 different lists.
That's true. Okay, give me one more. Let's try to do one more from the top 10 on this Rolling Stone greatest 500 songs of all time.
Michael Jackson, Thriller.
Ooh, Thriller. I'm surprised it's not there. No, it's not there.
Oh, it's not there?
No Michael Jackson song on this list, apparently.
Okay, let's assume that this list was written by some music geeks sitting at Rolling Stone magazine who are extremely snobby. In which case, let's see, greatest songs of all time. Simon and Garfunkel.
No, not Simon and Garfunkel. Okay, I'm going to give you some of the artists. Tell me which song of theirs is featured on this list, okay?
Okay.
Let's start with Nirvana. Which song of Nirvana is on this list?
Oh, Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Perfect. And Bob Dylan?
Ooh, Bob Dylan. Nope, I wouldn't be able to pick just one of his. No.
I think this was a little self-indulgent of them because it was like a Rolling Stone.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, are you an Aretha Franklin fan?
RESPECT?
Ooh, well done. Yes, RESPECT. Okay, I'm just going to tell you what the rest of the songs are. So it starts with Aretha Franklin. The next is Public Enemy, Fight the Power.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite song on this list. Then is Sam Cooke's A Change Is Gonna Come, Bob Dylan, Like a Rolling Stone, Nirvana, Smells Like a Teen Spirit, Marvin Gaye, What's Going On,
Gaye, yeah.
The Beatles, Strawberry Fields Forever, Missy Elliott, Get Your Freak On, Fleetwood Mac, Dreams, Outkast, Hey Ya.
Wait, Missy Elliott is in the top 10?
Yep, it's number 8 and one of the only two songs from the 2000s. The other one being Hey Ya by Outkast.
No, okay. See, any list, by the way, this should have come to my mind earlier, but any list which talks about the greatest songs of all time and does not have Bohemian Rhapsody in the first top 10 does not deserve to be called.
True, that's true. I'm very surprised.
Forget it.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. Rolling Stone, please do better.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's get back to the question. So X and Y were Chris Martin and Gwyneth Paltrow, very well cracked, and Z was Fix You, which I think was a rather sweet backstory to the song. By the way, he has written 4 other songs for Gwyneth Paltrow as well. Moses, Swallowed in the Sea, Magic, and Another's Arms.
Okay.
Okay, so after that musical start, Vineet, it's back to you.
Okay, so let's continue or let the music play. See what I did there? And let's stay in the same time period with the same kind of question, which is going to be quizzing algebra. So I have to give credit where credit is due. So there is a listener of ours by the name of Aryan Chandra from IIT Kanpur who sent me a few questions. See, people also send me questions. Emotional blackmail works. So,
okay, I have to tell the audience at this point that I read the subject. I did not read the email because it was addressed to Vineet, but I did read the subject line and it said, finally some questions for Vineet.
Yeah.
Okay, please continue.
So this question is something I had, or at least parts of it was something that I already had resting in the bowels of my quizzing database. So Aryan, what I've done is basically I've combined your question with my question. Hopefully it turns out to be a Voltron of questions. Again, see what I did there. So, X is a punk rock concept album. X's narrative is focused on the story of a teenager who, growing up in the United States under the presidency of George W. Bush during the Iraq War, criticizing both the year and the war. One of the songs in the album, Why, is not entirely related to the album's central narrative. The song was inspired by the death of the lead singer's father in September 1982. Arguably, the most famous song in the album, Z, is the only song to win both the Grammy Award for Record of the Year and the MTV Video Music Award for Video of the Year. Identify the album X and the songs Y and Z.
Okay, so Y was the song about the lead singer's father's passing, and Z is the most famous song, right?
Yes. The entire album is a concept album, so there are a lot of things. Most of the songs link to each other. There's a central theme. It tells like a coherent story. There was even a plan to make a movie out of the story that's told by the album itself. The only song which does not completely gel with the narrative is the song Why, which was based off or at least inspired by the death of the lead singer's father in September 1982.
And the theme of the rest of the album was the political protest, right?
Yes, so it's a story of a teenager growing up in the United States under the presidency of George W. Bush during the Iraq War. And the album is critical of both the war and W.
Wait, I'm a little confused about the timeline because you said George W. Bush, but the death of the father happened in 1982, right?
Yes, September 1982 is when the death of the father happened.
So the album came out much later then.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they were just talking about the death of the father,
Yeah.
but that death hadn't happened recently. Yeah. Oh, got it. Because I was thinking 80s songs. Interesting. So we're talking about the 2000s, and I'm assuming the band is American.
Yes. And this was their 7th album.
Famous American band. Ooh, American Idiot?
Oh, very good. Very good. It is Green Day, American Idiot.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Okay.
And the songs?
21 Guns?
No.
Oh, or the song American Idiot itself?
No. That's not the most famous song from the album. The most famous song from the album is their signature song.
Ooh, When September Ends.
Okay, so that's the song we're talking about regarding to his father's death. So Wake Me Up When September Ends.
Figures.
Right? Beautiful song. Beautiful song. But the best song from that album, it was, I think, 6 times platinum? It is their signature song.
Oh, is this Boulevard of Broken Dreams?
Very good. And that's 3 for 3.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So the album American Idiot marked a career comeback for Green Day, charting in 27 countries, reaching for the first time the top spot on the Billboard 200 for the group, and peaking at number 1 in 18 other countries. It has sold over 23 million copies worldwide, making it the second best-selling album for the band, and one of the best-selling albums of the decade and all time. It was later certified 6 times platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America in 2013. The album spawned 5 successful singles: the titular track American Idiot, Wake Me Up When September Ends, Jesus of Suburbia, which is going to be my next clue that the character teenage boy refers to himself as Jesus of Suburbia, and the Grammy Award for Record of the Year winner Boulevard of Broken Dreams. So the story behind the name of the song is that on the day of his father's funeral, the lead singer of the band, Billy Joe Armstrong, reportedly ran home, locked himself in his room, and when his mother came to check on him, he told her to wake him up when September ended.
Oh, wow.
And he held on to that song title for almost 20 years before he finally made an album about it.
That somehow makes that already beautiful song that much more impactful. Wow.
Yeah, it's a beautiful song. The American Idiot album was just fantastic. It was one of those albums, It's like the Rolling Stones did for the 60s. And I know, let me also clarify, people have told me that I say this too many times, but it is the truth. The Rolling Stones were the soundtrack of the 60s. You can take whichever other band you feel was this and just, shove it in a cupboard because it is a fact. The Rolling Stones were the soundtrack of the 60s. I dare you to find a movie about the 1960s, especially about the counterculture there, where you don't have at least one Rolling Stone song.
Can I just say that just a few minutes ago, You were saying music choice is subjective and everybody's entitled to their opinion. And now suddenly, nobody's opinion matters.
Yeah. No, but this is a fact. This is a fact. It was the soundtrack of the 60s. I'm not saying that they are the best band. I'm saying they were the soundtrack of the 60s. That when you talk about events in 60s, they provided the cultural soundtrack to it. And the evidence of it can be seen in practically any movie about the 60s.
Well, I know better than to challenge you on that point. Oh, by the way, some random side trivia just about me, I guess. The first track that I ever listened to on an iPod was Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
Oh.
A friend in school brought their iPod to school and we were all so impressed by this quirky, new, fascinating gadget.
Yeah.
And Boulevard of Broken Dreams was the first song I listened to on it.
And Boulevard of Broken Dreams was also the first Green Day song that I ever heard.
Oh yeah, probably my first Green Day song as well. Wow, really cool question. Such interesting trivia. And surprisingly, so much overlap in between our two questions because even mine had the loss of a father.
Yeah.
Oh, the art that comes out of pain and loss.
Yes.
Okay, so moving on to the next question. And I have two segues into this question. Because firstly, I'm also doing a question sent to us by a listener.
Oh, nice.
This listener's name is Shreya. So thank you so much, Shreya. She tells me that she's a medical student and an avid quizzer.
Mm-hmm.
She has sent me two questions and I'll use one of them today and save the other for a rainy day.
Okay.
Since you spoke about George Bush, an American idiot, I'll pick the question for today which has to do with someone who's as far from an idiot as one can be. So the question is about Niels Bohr. Niels Bohr, when he was awarded the highest civil honor in Denmark, which goes by the name of the Order of the Elephant, in 1940s.
Wait. Let's roll that back a little bit. The highest honor in Denmark is called the Order of the Elephant.
Listen, I don't know what the Danes are smoking there or what they're doing, but yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah.
Okay.
So the highest civilian honor in Denmark was awarded to Niels Bohr in 1947. He was asked to create a family coat of arms or a crest as the custom demanded.
Mm-hmm.
He chose his crest, staying true to his motto, and this is Latin, so pardon my Latin. Contraria sunt complementa. The chosen symbol was also meant to represent two incoming colliding ions with quarks in their nuclei.
Okay.
Simple question, what did he choose as his crest?
Tell me his motto again.
Contraria sunt complementa.
That, if I'm not mistaken, means opposite but equal or opposite but complementary or something like that, right?
You have cracked it, haven't you? Okay, do it. Do it as quickly as you can.
No, I don't know.
It's fine.
No, I
don't
know
have
a little
to
bit of
pretend,
Latin.
Vineet.
So I'm just trying to guess what that means because you said that it says that the atom. Did he have a picture of the atom?
Oh no, it isn't an atom. He isn't Dr. Manhattan.
I thought we were going to talk about him being a sportsman. He was a runner, right? Niels Bohr was an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
What was the description of the image again?
Okay, so it was trying to stay true to his motto, which is Contraria sunt complementa. And it was also supposed to represent incoming colliding ions with quarks in the nuclei.
Okay, I'm just confused now. Like opposite but equal or contrary but complementary. Wait, these are particles and antiparticles? That's what it would mean, right? They are contradictory as in they will annihilate each other. But at the same time, you have to have an antiparticle for every particle.
I'm not sure. Was the theory of antiparticles already around in the time of Niels Bohr?
Oh, yeah. And they knew about antimatter way back when. A lot of the physics we study in school is around 50, 60, 70 years old already by this point.
Fair enough. But I think it's a little bit more abstract, I guess.
Okay. Did he just have a big X?
Ooh, that would be cool. But also that would be stealing from House Bolton of Game of Thrones.
That was not an X actually. That was a flayed man.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. But anyways, it's not an X. What else could it be? Take a guess.
Ions, colliding ions with quarks in them.
It's a symbol you have definitely seen.
See, that makes it all the more irritating.
Fair enough, because you're a designer and you're also a scientist, a man of science. So you have seen a lot of these symbols, but this is a symbol that almost everybody has seen.
Hey, this is not the Octothorpe or anything, right? No.
No, not the Octothorpe. Not hashtag.
Because my mind is stuck on complementary but contrary. So then
Exactly.
something
Complementary but contrary. Complementary but contrary. Opposite but together.
plus minus.
A symbol everybody has seen. No, not plus minus. A little prettier than that.
A not equal to sign.
No. I think you're a little stuck at the science aspect of this.
Okay.
It's a little bit more abstract. Not something you would see in a science textbook, but maybe on Pinterest. Or even a tattoo.
Pinterest or tattoo? Oh God, yin and yang. Did he do yin and yang?
Bang on, it is the yin and yang, exactly.
Niels Bohr had yin and yang on his coat of arms. Wow, that is a trivia and a half.
Yeah, it is a pretty cool piece of trivia. So, yin and yang symbol together, it's called, and I'm probably mispronouncing it, it's called Taijitu. Taijitu.
Okay.
And that's what Niels Bohr chose as his coat of arms or family crest when he was being given the Order of the Elephant.
Oh God. I'm just going to ask a follow-up to your question. Technically, you're the one who's supposed to ask a follow-up to your own question, but I'm going to steer it. You mentioned the Latin motto of Niels Bohr, right? So my question to you is, whose Latin motto on their coat of arms was Orbis non sufficit?
Orbis non sufficit. Sufficit sounds like sufficient. Orbis is what? Orbits? Orbits are not sufficient. Heisenberg.
No. This is one of those pieces of trivia I just always like to put in. If it's a small pub quiz or something like that, I like to do that. Especially if there's a medical crowd or somebody, because you need a little bit of exposure to Latin to understand what it means.
Okay. Am I even close to decoding the meaning, or am I really off?
Yeah, the second half is somewhat okay. You've not translated it exactly, but if you get the kind of meaning, you'll get the phrase. Once you get the phrase, you'll know who it is.
Orbs, Newton?
Ooh, orb, apple. Very Da Vinci Code, but no.
Yeah, I went very Robert Langdon on that one. Okay. Orbit like a planetary orbit?
Okay, closer.
Galileo?
No.
Okay, I'm assuming it's a scientist and I'm assuming it has something to do with planetary orbits.
No. I said you're closer when you're talking about planetary orbits. Maybe even forget the orbit part.
Just planet. George Herschel?
Okay, let me just give you another clue. It's not a scientist.
Not a scientist. And this is somebody's coat of arms, family crest, right?
Family crest. On their family crest, they have this particular motto. Orbis non sufficit. If you get the translation right, I guarantee you know who this is.
Elon Musk.
No.
It's like Earth is not enough, I have to go to Mars.
Oh, okay. Very close.
Oh, Earth is not enough. Carl Sagan? Okay, no, but he's still a scientist. Okay, I need another hint. I'm shooting in the dark.
If you are a person living on this planet, you would say Earth, or you would say
Home?
or
Dharti? Oh, world is not enough. Is it Ian Fleming?
No, this is James Bond.
Okay, yeah, James Bond. Got it, yeah. Wait, so James Bond has a family motto?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, fair. He does come from that kind of a family.
Yeah. So there are 3 pieces of trivia which I usually ask in quizzes where you don't have like hardcore quizzes. The most difficult one of this is Orbis non sufficit.
Right.
Especially if they're not expecting it, nobody will think of James Bond. Number 2 is whose boss was Sir Miles Messervy.
No idea. Never even heard that name.
Again, it's James Bond. M from the books.
Oh.
M from the books was Sir Miles Messervy.
Ah, okay. Got it.
And number 3 is, I'm not going to ask it as a question. The trivia is basically coming down to which 90s blockbuster movie directed by Martin Campbell got its name from a villa in the Caribbean.
90s James Bond films, Die Another Day, World Is Not Enough. I'm forgetting something else. Oh, don't tell me, it's GoldenEye.
It's GoldenEye.
GoldenEye is the name of a villa. Wow. Cool trivia.
Nice, huh? Okay, so those were my unofficial questions. So going back to my official one.
Wow, what a way to use more questions, Vineet. Nice one.
I'm so greedy. It's all your fault. You're the one who asked about Niels Bohr's crest and that,
You know what? I'm going to blame Shreya. Let's just pass on the blame. How could you, Shreya?
Yeah, Shreya. Well done.
Okay, no, thank you, Shreya.
Yeah, seriously.
By the way, Shreya is a medical student, so she's a part of your fraternity.
Yeah, junior.
Wow, that sounded like such a college senior ragging a junior.
No. I never ragged anybody.
Did you get ragged?
Yeah, I did get ragged, but not that much. But I never ragged anybody.
I find that easy to believe.
So moving on from ragging to more extreme forms of violence. In Chhindwara.
That's quite the segue.
Yeah. In Chhindwara, you must have heard of Chhindwara, right? It's in MP. In Chhindwara, a villager by the name of Todal was found dead in the forest on 19th September 1949. During the investigation and subsequent court case, the police's theory was that the accused conspired to murder the victim as he was in love with his wife. The defense was that the victim was killed in an animal attack. The accused was later found not guilty after the defense produced a book, X, written by Y, in which the court found which supported their version of events. The book in question was an international bestseller when first published. A Hollywood movie was released in 1948 after Universal Pictures purchased the rights to the book in 1946. The movie bore absolutely no resemblance to the book and was a complete flop. Identify the book X and the author Y.
Can you give me the dates again?
Let's just say it's the 1940s. I don't know if it's going to help you much. I would suggest you focus on the story of the murder itself. That might give you a better shot.
So the guy who was accused of the murder had presumably murdered because he was in love with a woman who was married to the victim.
Yeah.
And the book was used as an evidence for his eventual acquittal. Okay, no, I have no idea. Give me some clue.
The book was a huge success in India, the UK, the United States, the first edition of the American Book of the Month Club. It was translated into 27 languages.
The original was in English though, right?
Oh yeah, it was written in English.
So the book basically proved that the victim might have been killed by an animal.
Yes.
Is it that book by Jim Corbett?
Oh, very good. Which one?
Uh,
The most famous one. He's got like multiple books, but I think two of them are like really, really famous. You have one chance to guess, like Bertie says, one chance.
I think it's something like Man-Eaters of Kumau.
Very good. Yes. So it is Jim Corbett's Man-Eater of Kumaon. The other famous book was The Leopard of Rudraprayag. So those are the two famous books by Jim Corbett, who was an Anglo-Indian hunter, tracker, naturalist, author, born in India in 1875. He's lived such a full life that there's so many pieces of trivia about him. So one of the best pieces of trivia about him that I like is the fact that when he was in Kenya, he was at the hotel called Treetops. It's in Aberdare National Park in Kenya. So he was there in February of 1952. This particular Treetops hotel was built on the branches of a giant ficus tree. During 5th to 6th February of 1952, Princess Elizabeth, note the terminology, Princess Elizabeth stayed there. And Jim Corbett stayed as her bodyguard during those 2 days, 5th to 6th of February of 1952.
Wow, okay.
Okay. So on the night of the 5th and the morning of the 6th, Princess Elizabeth's father, King George VI, died. And Elizabeth ascended to the throne.
Oh, I know this piece. I have heard this trivia that she was not in the UK.
Yes.
But I didn't know she was with Jim Corbett. Oh my.
Exactly. So then she immediately was whisked off to England for whatnot. Jim Corbett wrote in the hotel's visitors register, "For the first time in the history of the world, a young girl climbed into a tree, one day a princess, and after having what she described as her most thrilling experience, she climbed down from the tree the next day a queen. God bless her."
Wow.
Because she was living in a tree house. It was built on the branches of a giant ficus tree.
What an insane piece of history right there. Wow.
Yeah. So the Man Eaters of Kumaon, it was a huge hit. Universal Pictures purchased the rights to make a movie, and they made a movie which had absolutely nothing to do with the book. It centered on an American played by Wendell Corey who wounds a tiger and is later killed by it. Like literally the opposite of the book. Corbett saw the movie and claimed the best actor was the tiger.
Oh God.
So that's my Jim Corbett question for you.
You know, I have visited Jim Corbett National Park, and I must say it's a recommendation. If you can go to Jim Corbett National Park, you must go to Jim Corbett National Park. And you must stay at the Dikala Forest Lodge. I went like more than a decade ago, but it still stands out in my memory as one of the best national park experiences I've had, especially in India. Because I have visited some of the other ones as well. I've been to like Kaziranga and stuff. But somehow Jim Corbett was exceptional. And I hope that stopped, but I remember doing an elephant safari.
No, elephant rides I think are still a thing in many parts of India.
But I've learned since then that it's pretty bad for the elephant, for their back and for their health in general. But if the elephant's still around, go say hi to Pawan Pari. That's the awesome elephant that we explored Jim Corbett with. So that's my not really pop culture recommendation, just a regular recommendation, I guess.
Yeah, that's a recommendation.
As great as that trivia was, I loved the Elizabeth story.
Yeah, I wanted to make it a question, but for some things just don't want to make it a question. It's so beautiful.
Okay, speaking of great stories, I'm going to describe a place to you, and you have to tell me which great story is this related to. This structure was built from 1917 to 1918 for Alva Belmont. She was an American multimillionaire socialite and women's suffrage activist. She was the ex-wife of William Kissam Vanderbilt. So some big names that even if you don't know these actual people, you might have heard the names Belmont or Vanderbilt.
I think you mean Belmont. It's Belmont and Vanderbilt.
Yes, sure. Exactly in that accent.
Speak in the accent, bro.
Oh man, we do miss Bertie.
Yeah.
So this place was designed by Hunt and Hunt, a pretty famous architects of the era. It was the last house designed by them in that area. Architectural historians have described the mansion as a pure Gothic fantasy, although it did owe some of its design elements to the Alcazars of Spain and to depictions of castles in medieval illuminated manuscripts. The interior contained about 60 primary rooms and upwards of 140 in total. The entire structure was coated in smooth, gleaming white stucco. Or is it pronounced stucco? It was eventually sold to William Randolph Hearst, another big name.
The newspaper baron.
Yeah. Hearst himself sold it off in 1942 and eventually this place was demolished in 1945. So I've given you a brief description of this place. Tell me, in which great story is this place featured?
Great story. First thing that comes to mind is this Rosebud from Citizen Kane.
I think you mean Xanadu.
Yeah, Xanadu, yes.
Oh, nice guess. But no, it's not Xanadu from Citizen Kane.
Okay, the other thing that comes to mind is Disney. Fantasia?
Nope, not Fantasia either.
Okay, castle, gleaming white. And you said it's part of a great story.
Actually, I have not given you the name of the place and I don't think it matters much. But anyways, it's called Beacon Towers.
Called Beacon Towers. And location? Is it New York or?
I haven't mentioned the location yet.
You haven't mentioned the location. Okay. Okay, one more question. When you said this is part of a great story, Do you mean it was a fictional story or a real life story?
It's a fictional story.
It's part of a fictional story. So it should be post 1917. Famous castle. It was demolished in 1945, right?
Yep.
Was the story post 1945?
No.
Okay, right now I'm playing 20 questions.
Oh, you're on the right path. It did come out between 1917 and 1945.
My knowledge of classic era movies is very limited.
I actually never said movie.
Oh, you never said movie. Oh, it could be a book or a painting.
I just said story.
So a story, so it will be a book.
Yeah, no, it's a book. I won't go painting. I won't go that abstract.
Abstract, no. So it's a book between 1917 and 1945.
Indeed.
No. A lot of people don't know that Tolkien did most of his writing prior to 1945. So I thought of Tolkien, but no, I don't think Minas Tirith or something would be part of that, right?
No. It's not in the fantasy genre.
It's like a real life story. Oh, The Great Gatsby.
The great story, The Great Gatsby. Yes.
Yeah, okay. After like the 15th guess.
So Gatsby's mansion was based off of Beacon Towers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I read The Great Gatsby many years ago. I think when DiCaprio's adaptation came out, or right before that. And I think the book holds up. It is obviously one of the great American literature. By the way, did you know that The Great Gatsby is in some way semi-autobiographical?
Did not know that.
He was 18 years old, Fitzgerald, when he met Ginevra King, a 16-year-old socialite with whom he fell deeply in love. And although Ginevra was madly in love with him, her upper-class family openly discouraged his courtship because of his lower-class status. And that's what inspired him to write Gatsby, who buys the mansion, which is inspired by Beacon Towers. And I did not mention the location. It is supposed to be Long Island.
Long Island, New York.
I thought that would be a giveaway.
Yeah.
You should go see the pictures of the place, and it's obvious how even Baz Luhrmann was inspired in his 2013 adaptation by Beacon Towers in some way.
I'm quite surprised that after the movie released, in India, people did not refer it to it as, Amitabh Bachchan's movie.
Yeah. He played a Jewish businessman, if I'm not wrong, which was a surprising casting choice. And I think his only Hollywood production till date. Anyways, that was a Great Gatsby, great story question for you. And well cracked. Good job. So back to you.
Okay. So let's go from the heady, boppy 1920s to ancient antiquity.
Okay.
There are records that X was marketed in Babylonia and was used in ancient Egypt on some mummies. X arrived in North Africa during the Punic civilization through the Phoenician diaspora. Pliny the Elder wrote about its use in the Roman Empire as a medicine, a perfume, and a dye. People in rural North Africa still use twigs from X as toothpicks. What is X?
Okay, so some sort of plant or a tree.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, completely wild guess, and I don't think it makes a lot of sense, but was it somehow the Christmas tree?
Oh, very, very good guess, but no.
Roughly what era is this?
X was marketed in Babylonia. So we're talking about Babylon, Mesopotamia, that time period. And in ancient Egypt on some mummies. Arrived in North Africa during the Punic civilization through Phoenician diasporas.
And it was used as a medicine, toothpick, perfume, and a dye, right? I was going to say something like eucalyptus, but dye. No idea. Give me another clue, maybe?
Okay. It is most associated with the Indian subcontinent and the Middle East.
Indigo.
Oh, very, very good guess, but no. Middle East, and is basically from the Middle East to the Indian subcontinent. That's where people now completely associated with.
Palm tree, but again, no dye. What dye is popular in Middle East?
As a dye, it has a lot of cultural and religious significance also. And this is the giveaway clue. Think weddings.
Weddings across India and Middle East. The very different decoration and aesthetics in all these places. Oh, wait. I was thinking decoration. Wait. Is it mehndi or henna?
Yes, it is henna.
Oh, that makes so much more sense as a dye.
Yeah, so henna is quite old. You can trace the origins and the use of henna through the fogs of time into ancient antiquity. And it was used as a perfume and as a medicine as well. And it's been found in mummies in ancient Egypt. It just boggles my mind, that something that we use today was used for the same purpose even like 5,000 years ago.
I saw this on Instagram actually recently. Something along the lines of a historian's dilemma, where some things of our daily life which were present historically would seem very anachronistic or out of place if we saw them today in the same historical context. And I think they give two examples. The first one was the name Tiffany. Apparently the first recorded usage is from like the 13th or 14th century.
Tiffany? Wow.
Yeah, exactly, right? Sounds so out of place. And the reel on Instagram did not go into too much detail, but there is a CGP Grey video, and I've recommended this channel so many times before. You have to check it out. He goes into the history of Tiffany with some intensity.
Wow.
So yeah. And the other example was, take a wild guess when the word haha first came into use.
Haha? I'm guessing it's an elemental sound, so let's go with the Mesopotamians.
Not that long ago. But in a written text, it goes back to the 14th century. And the word unfriend is from the 16th or the 17th century?
Wait, what? I unfriended thee.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess similarly, if you saw a mummy with the mehndi on it, it would be weird.
Yeah.
But historically accurate.
Very nice, very nice. You cracked that very well. So, take the baton, Aditya.
Okay, so for my question, I have to give credit to Kumar Varun, KV. He does a lot of quizzing related stuff on YouTube, Instagram, everywhere. Go find him. And I saw this in one of his quizzes. I love it because this piece of trivia is a little politically incorrect but hilarious. Okay, so Beirut chess is a chess variant invented by Jim Winslow in 1992.
Okay.
The game uses the standard chess pieces, the standard setup, the standard board, but has a small variation in the gameplay that, in my opinion at least, makes it a lot more interesting. So what variation in standard chess makes it Beirut chess?
Okay, because you said Beirut chess, I have two guesses. Is it possible for the pawns to be like suicide bombers and take out like 4 pieces right around them?
Okay, I'll give it to you. It's not just the pawn, it can be any chess piece except the king. And the player has to secretly attach a red dot to the bottom of one of the pieces of their choosing.
Oh, okay.
This makes that particular piece capable of detonating a bomb at any point in the game when it's that player's turn. A bomb detonation kills all the pieces in the surrounding squares and the bomb carrier themselves.
Oh, nice.
I think it's a pretty cool variation. I think it makes it a lot more interesting. I think they could have come up with a little bit more politically correct name, but
yeah.
Beirut chess it is.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Oh, I'd like to try a game of Beirut chess. To be honest, it sounds quite intriguing.
Oh, another variation I came across recently is the Magnus Carlsen variation.
Okay. Wherein the one player starts very late.
No. The idea is that in this variation, the starting positions are random. So it isn't like the standard placement in chess game. It's completely random in those 16 squares.
Oh, and why is that? Like, why is it called the Magnus Carlsen variation?
Okay, I'm not sure what it is exactly called. I think it might be called freestyle chess. But in any case, he has popularized it and has been advocating for it. The reason being that you can't memorize any standard openings and stuff. You have to truly understand the game and the technique behind it.
Yeah. I think it was about Gukesh that when Magnus was saying that during an interview that he's very strong in classical chess. But when it comes to like speed chess or blitz chess, where you don't have time to think. You literally have to play on instinct, right? You have to have like a feeling for the board. He's like, no, Gukesh isn't as great at that. Again, before people attack me, I'm a big supporter of Gukesh. I think he has all the potential to be world champion and dominate. But this is not what I think of him. This is what I remember Magnus Carlsen saying. So I think Magnus in general has that thing where, it has to have a feel for the board. You have to play with feel rather than be very systematic and calculate every possible alternative.
Right.
I follow a lot of these people on YouTube.
Okay.
There are these chess tubers, Potes sisters, Dina Belanka. So I follow them. It's quite interesting. They do make some very interesting videos. And Samay Raina also, he streams chess quite often.
Yeah, he was streaming today from the same place that I was performing at earlier. And apparently on chess.com, some of the most streamed games these days are these variations, which I find interesting, right? Because a well-regarded ancient sport is being brought into the 21st century with these variations being made more interesting and more dynamic. Kind of fun.
Yeah. And this is like a general, not like a specific pop culture recommendation. But if you've never seen a game of blitz chess or like speed chess, you really should. Because it is insane to me how people play that. It is so fast. It goes on so quickly. Wow. There's like 1 minute or 2 minutes on timer for both players. That's it. The entire game is played out within that much time. Okay. Let's move from classical chess to Amazon for some reason. So...
Oh, we were doing so well on the segues today, but okay.
Okay, scratch that. This has got nothing to do with Amazon, but I don't know. Okay, it's something you can buy on Amazon. So let's consider that a segue in itself. So in 2012, Sheridan Simov published his book X, which was a parody of the global phenomenon Y. The title of X differs from Y only by one letter. If you bought Sheridan's book X, you would find that it has no words, and the more you flip the pages, the darker the book gets. So identify X and Y. X is Simov's book, and Y is the original phenomenon of which this is a parody.
The book gets darker.
Yeah.
And it's a parody.
Yeah.
Dark. Something to do with racism?
No.
Ooh, is it a parody on the brief history of time? Like you go back to the beginning of time when there was no light.
Oh, very, very good guess, but no.
Okay. Going to dark. I'm trying to think of some sort of punny or funny answer. Dark Ages?
No. But I advise you to focus on the second clue on the question. That first of all, X is a parody. And the second clue is that title of X differs from Y only by one letter.
Is it by any chance a self-help book or like one of those mantras to success, something like that?
No.
Oh, so it's a fictional book that is being parodied.
Yes, very much fictional.
What year was this again?
2012.
Okay, no idea. I would love a hint.
Okay. It is quite apt that X parodied Y, because Y in itself was supposed to be inspired, or I wouldn't say be a parody of, but was supposed to be a fan fiction of something else.
50 Shades of Grey or 50 Shades of Black. Wait, what? 50 Shades of Grey, right?
Yeah, I'll give it to you. So X is also called 50 Shades of Grey, but instead of the original book which has Grey, this has Gray. And basically there are literally 200 pages with every 4 pages being the same shade, going from very light grey to very dark grey.
Oh my god. Oh, please tell me he has released a sequel also? 50 Shades Darker?
No, there's no sequel. Because the next one would be 50 Shades Darker, which would just be a black book.
Yeah, just varying levels of black.
Yeah, but then what would you do for the conclusion of the trilogy? 50 Shades Freed.
Just give it away for free.
It'll be a file, no binding.
Yeah. Just pieces of black paper.
Just pieces of black paper. Oh God. So well cracked, Aditya. And that's, I think, all the time we have today for our regular questions. let's wind up this episode first by asking or answering the audience question, which was, the game was invented in Germany in 1892 under the name Stern-Halma as a variation of the older American game Halma. The present-day name originated in the United States as a marketing scheme by Bill and Jack Pressman in 1928. Identify the game.
Interesting. Just because we were talking about chess, I'm thinking some sort of a board game when you say game.
It is a board game.
Okay. Ludo is Indian. Go is Chinese. Checkers?
Very close.
Oh, Chinese checkers.
Yeah, Chinese checkers.
Okay.
Stern is German for star. So when he's talking about Stern-Halma, it's called star. And the older game Halma used a square board. So by calling it Stern-Halma, you're basically calling it like a star something. But when it came to marketing in the US, in its typical insensitive style, Americans decided to call it Chinese checkers, even though it has nothing to do with China at all.
All right.
So, Aditya, what are your pop culture recommendations for this week?
So I have two things to recommend today. The first is an episode from a podcast which I think I've recommended in the past. It's a great podcast. The episode is called What It Takes to Know Everything, and the podcast is called People I Mostly Admire.
Okay. They always do a good job.
They do a great job. So the podcast is hosted by Steve Levitt, who is the Freakonomics co-author. And he invites guests on, as the name suggests, people he mostly admires, and he interviews them. In this episode, he has invited Victoria Groce, who is the best trivia contestant on earth. She won the 2024 World Quizzing Championship. The first time in a very long time that an American has won it, apparently. Usually the Europeans dominate it, apparently. Which is surprising, because I would have thought Indians would be good at it too.
No, because most of these trivia competitions are very Western-centric.
Right.
And we have this tendency to have very Indian questions here. So our exposure to international trivia is quite less. Even the World Quizzing Championship questions, there will be a few things from India, which seem very obvious to us.
Yes.
And then everything else, especially the culture section. So there are 8 sections in the World Quizzing Championship. On that, there's a culture section which is nigh impossible for me to answer. Because it's almost exclusively Western. Then, it's not just Western, frankly. South American, African,
right,
Aboriginal, Southeast Asian. So it's got a wide gamut of questions which come in, and they're not always quite easy to answer. So that's why I don't think Indians do often feature on the list. Though I do have hopes for one particular gentleman by the name of Shashwat, who's a quizzer. I've seen him win a lot of quizzing competitions and things in India. He's quite young.
Oh, interesting.
Most trivia champions, they are in their late 30s and 40s, right? Because you need a little bit of time to kind of absorb this. And so Shashwat Salgaonkar, I have high hopes that one day we'll see his name up on our quizzing board.
Oh, interesting. I'll delve into that rabbit hole. Surprisingly enough, Victoria was also talking about the kind of trivia that she has to memorize. And it isn't necessarily the kind of trivia that we feature on this podcast, because very often on this podcast, we are looking for trivia which someone might be able to guess at, even if they haven't heard of it before or are completely unaware of. But for something like the World Quizzing Championship, you need to know everything, basically. So one of the examples that she gave for a question that she had no clue about was a question related to IPL. And I remember thinking, okay, one question that I can answer more than Victoria. And as everybody knows, cricket is my weak point, so I couldn't answer even that question. So that's my first recommendation. And the second recommendation I have is this movie called Avesham.
Oh.
I feel like you might have recommended it before.
I think I did recommend it once. I'm not sure if I...
Yeah, I feel like you have, because when someone recommended it to me recently, I was like, oh, I've heard of this. And I assume because it's a Malayalam film that it was Vineet who recommended it to me. But yeah, it's a great film. And if this is a double recommendation, so be it, because it is a great film. And Fahad Fasil was completely chewing up the scenery. He ate it all up.
He cooked, I think, is the terminology that our current generation uses.
Yeah. Which is saying something, because even the other actors were phenomenal. There were these 3 college kids and they were so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are the two end of the podcast recommendations. And I had mentioned two things earlier. So reminding you to go watch Fix You on So You Think You Can Dance and also reading Great Gatsby.
Okay, great. So I have just two pop culture recommendations for this week. One is a recently released movie, and in my role as evangelist for Malayalam movies on this podcast, I want to recommend a movie called Sukshmadarshini, which stars Nazriya Nazim, who is Fahad Fazil's wife in real life.
There we go.
And Basil Joseph, who was the director of Minnal Murali, which I think was one of the best superhero movies to come out of India ever. They have made a movie. It is a very good mystery movie. The second one I want to recommend is just a lot of fun. It's called Murder Mindfully. Again, you can see the theme murder. But I binged this series on a flight from Cochin to Delhi. I downloaded it on Netflix. It is a German series, so you'll have to watch the dubbed version, but the dubbing is very good. It doesn't take you out of it at all. It's about a lawyer with sleazy clients who's like extremely stressed and his life is going to pieces and everything. And his wife, as a condition of, trying to repair their relationship, asks him to attend a mindfulness seminar. So he learns to be mindful and then he starts applying it to real life, but then unexpectedly becomes a murderer and a mastermind for the mob.
I love it already.
Yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Go watch Murder Mindfully. It's a German series. It's streaming on Netflix. And Sukshmadarshini, it's in theaters out now, or it may already be out by the time we release this episode, so I don't know. So that's all the time we have for our episode today. Thank you all for listening in. I hope you enjoyed the show and learned something new. If you liked what you heard, please consider subscribing to our podcast and leaving us a review on your favorite podcast platform. It helps us reach a wider audience and allows more people to discover and enjoy the show. Just take 2 seconds to give us a 5-star rating. And as Aditya says, recommend this podcast to a friend or a loved one or even an enemy. Just do it. Just do it. Be like Nike. It helps us, as I mentioned, to reach a wider audience. We'd also love to hear from you. Feedback, suggestions, even trivia. If you want questions asked on the show, you can just send us an email at areyouquizzingme@gmail.com with the name of the quizmaster in the subject line so that only that person will open up the email and see the questions. You can reach us at Instagram at areyouquizzingme. We are also available on YouTube, and there's also a community on Reddit being r/areyouquizzingme. We appreciate all your support and look forward to sharing more episodes with you in the future. Thank you again for tuning in. Have a great day.
See you guys next week.